The southern states had seceded to protect slavery, and the North went to war to save the Union, not at first to free the slaves, although that became a war measure. One of the important goals that I have in the book is to try to remind the public how deep the racism was at that time and how serious those problems were. In recent years, there's been some tendency to portray Lincoln as a champion of racial equality, but the political system wouldn't allow that at the time, and that is a signal for us of how serious the racism in the United States had been. Lincoln felt that his primary duty was to save the Union, and although he hated slavery in the abstract, he felt that slaveholders had some constitutional rights. It's often forgotten that in his inaugural address, he said he would support a proposed amendment to the Constitution that would have protected slavery in the states where it existed forever. Once the war got underway, many people in the North began to say, we must destroy slavery in order to win the war. Lincoln moved more slowly, and even in his Emancipation proclamations, it's often forgotten there were two, he gave the southern states 100 days to return to the Union and retain their slaves if they would end the rebellion and come back to the Union. Lincoln, I believe, was glad to see the war destroy slavery, but his priority was saving the Union, and throughout his presidency, he continued to try to offer considerations to Southern whites that would encourage them to cooperate in the process of reunion. This is an important and often misunderstood fact. Unfortunately, there are some who claim that the slaves did nothing to bring about their freedom, but that's very wrong. In fact, they were a key part of the process and contributed as much as Lincoln and political figures did. As the war got underway, slaves took advantage of every opportunity to come into Union lines and to escape from slavery. They joined the Army in large numbers. Before the war was over, there were about 500,000 Southern slaves who had liberated themselves from slavery by entering Union lines, and almost 150,000 were fighting for the Union armies. Also in the North, black people were arguing for freedom and equality and were joining the Army and participating in the effort to end slavery and free the Union. I will be happy to. I'm here in Spain to do a lot more research, but these are two countries that had bitter, divisive, very destructive civil wars. And it's very interesting to see the different ways in which they dealt with them. There were, of course, different historical factors, but Spain, of course, had what is seen by many as almost a model transition to democracy, and Spain has made much progress, whereas now memories of the Civil War are becoming more important again in Spain. In the United States, it's often said with justice that the southern states won the peace. They lost the war, but they won the peace in terms of imposing once again the kind of racial policies that had characterized the racist system before the Civil War. And it took the United States well over 100 years to really make serious changes, profound changes in those arrangements. Well, I'll be looking at the way that people in both countries battled over what the war meant, argued about its meaning, interpreted it in different ways as time went on. And these arguments continue up to the present day, even in the United States where the Civil War had taken place earlier.